Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas, and I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, always here helping women, both entrepreneurs and career women, to find that space of balance, joy, and fulfillment. So I'm coming to you a day late. I had to take a day off. I don't know if y'all have been following the news and everything that's going on. There's so many things going on in the world that are so um different. Different is the best way to describe it. But here in New Orleans, in Louisiana, we had snow. And I mean significant snow. I've lived here my entire life, with the exception of about 6 months, right? And we've had what we called snow before, but in the past, what we had was, a little bit of sleet or a little bit of ice, but never like substantial. It is still here on Thursday snow. So we have snow in New Orleans, and I think I'm gonna just, just talk about that. Just talk about the lessons that I learned from having snow for the first time um at 40 plus. So the one thing is just these are just my takeaways as far as how we can, take from a situation and expand it into our lives. Because this is how I look at life. If you haven't realized that by now, this is kind of how I look at life. I take those little mini things that happen and then think about, how does this expand? How does this apply in other ways? Or what lessons, what takeaways come out of a situation? I have talked before about, like, when I do events or, work with a client, that I do an internal debrief, right? And that's so that I can get the lesson, so I can make sure that I'm walking away better than where I started. So one, we started getting warnings like last week, towards the end of last week, saying that this was coming, that this was happening, and to be prepared and to prepare yourself for this. And, you know, we're not done yet, but we're at the end, we're at the tail end of the situation. And I think one of the lessons is to be prepared, um, even if you either don't believe or you don't, be prepared beyond your um beyond your comfort, right? If you are from New Orleans, one of the, common things, like when we, of course, a big, marker for anybody who is from New Orleans is Hurricane Katrina. And because we had never experienced anything of that magnitude at that time, everyone planned for 3 days, right? Everyone planned for 3 days because typically, we historically we have storms, stuff happens. By day three, things are starting to open back up. Then, everybody prepared for 3 days, right? And it, of course, was not a 3 day situation, and there was no way that anyone could have imagined that it was going to be what it was. So, there's I'm not saying that to say anybody's wrong for how they plan, because I mean the entire city planned for 3 days, right? Um, I'm saying that to say like the translation for me then and now, because even with this situation, they said that it was going to be bad on Tuesday, that things would come around, probably on Wednesday, and we will be back Thursday, right? We would be back into the swing of things, and things are slowly opening back up. Roads are slowly opening back up, but we're not there yet, right? I'm gonna always look for the positive person. So what I am pulling from that idea of understanding that we have to be prepared, right? In life, we have to be prepared for what's to come. If we know that something is coming, then it behooves us to be prepared, but to also understand that that thing may be greater than your imagination. And I'm specifically thinking about, your dreams, your goals, your future, right? We have this plan in our head, and we are preparing for the plan that we have, right? I want to grow my business. I want to excel in my career, whatever that thing is that you're going after. But even in our best preparation, it can often be limited by our imagination. So in our mind, we have decided that it's going to be this, given the information, given what's in front of us, we've decided that it's going to be this one thing. But in most cases, that's not how it really pans out, right? It ends up being grander than we ever thought that it could be. So, my takeaway for you there is, of course, plan, prep, prepare, but also be open. Be open to the idea that it may be bigger than what you're thinking. Be flexible. Put yourself in a position that you can also be resourceful, right? So, at this point, especially those who have, little ones or big ones, the eaters, my child is at college, so I don't have to worry about that in this situation. But right now, there's a lot of people that's playing chopped with the ingredients in their kitchen right now because they weren't planning on this being um what it was. And it honestly never sounded real. I mean, I'm gonna say, to me, even when they were saying it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get prepared just because I know things can happen. But I never thought that this was gonna happen. So understand that something can come that you were totally not expecting. But if you have been preparing, that you can handle. So, you may have, if you knew the ending, you may have moved differently, right? But you're not going to always know the ending. But if you have been preparing along the way, you are going to be able to be flexible, to be able to figure some stuff out and make it work, right? So just be open to bigness and possibility, because again, you could not have told me that New Orleans was going to be covered in snow and um really seriously on lockdown because the snow is still here. Like we've never had enough snow for it to even be an issue of how to get rid of it. Like that's not even a thing. It doesn't even that doesn't exist. So that's one. Another just kind of lesson of it all is leave space for joy because there was nothing more beautiful than seeing all of the childlike delight from all ages. And I mean, the pets, everybody, just everyone just had this collective moment of joy. And that's one of the main reasons why I do what I do, because we deserve to have joy on a regular basis, right? And just to see the entire city in a state of joy, especially after how the new year started for us, right? To be able to just relax, to just, revel in this snow, experience a new thing. That's a whole nother lesson in and of itself. Experiencing new things, right? We have to be open to experiencing new things. We never will get to know if that's something that we love if we're not open to experiences. But I want to sit with joy for a minute. Be able to enjoy. And enjoy how it makes sense for you, right? Because there's some people that were out there sun to sun, and they were people, doing makeshift sleds and the snowmen and all of those different things. How it made sense to you, I was just having fun looking at it out the window. I went out there for a little while, but I don't like being cold, but I enjoyed just watching it because it was just something different, new, unexpected. And so, when I talk about like the calendar detox and creating white space, that white space is not just for the bad things that happen in life. That white space is also for those moments to where you're not so overly committed that when those moments happen, you're not able to embrace them, experience them, and you need them. You need those moments. There was so many posts about people saying, I needed this. You need those moments. There's a lot going on in the world, and there's always going to be reasons to be serious. There's always going to be reasons to um to have sadness. There's always going to be reasons to just they're going to be reasons, right? There's always going to be reasons to go to those places. We have to search for joy. We have to pursue joy. We have to be very conscious about bringing joy into our existence because we're not designed to live in that heaviness full time. Have joy, embrace joy. I mentioned, having new experiences. A lot of times we are, set in our ways, rigid about our experiences, team no new friends. We get into these spaces where we are not allowing for things to be different. We're not allowing for things to be bigger, better in our lives because we're closed off. Be open to a new experience. I mean, you may love it. Hey, you might hate it. You might just say, this is not for me. but be open to it. Be open to experiencing new things. Um, yeah, yeah. I think another thing I'm gonna say is because I'm seeing, we're at that point where people are starting to get stir crazy, right? And and I get it, it's only so long that you want to be sitting still without the ability to move. Not necessarily that you gotta move, but the ability to move about as you would like. But I also want to, um, challenge you to find comfort in stillness. A lot of times we struggle with that, but that's where a lot of answers are. That's where a lot of self-awareness is. That's where a lot of healing is. So that's another lesson, just learning to be comfortable in stillness and to, make the most of situations that may be outside of our control. So you may not be able to, you want to go do something, you want to, whatever, and you may not be able to. And that's frustrating if you allow it to be, but we can also just, try to make the best out of that situation. So what's that thing that you've been, saying that you were going to do and you just haven't? This might be the moment to do that. Or that book that you've been wanting to read, but you just don't have time. Go pick the book up, read the book. So let's, learn how to not stress ourselves out. Let's say it like that. Like sometimes we can be our own chaos and we don't need to be. And let's learn how to move differently in the situation. The other thing I want to, just put out there, throw out there, um, is, especially for our business owners of the group, myself included, is making sure that you are prepared for what it looks like. It just seems like this year came in very loud, very rude. And we want to be prepared for I think all of these different things, because, if it's not frozen, it's on fire. That's pretty much where we are right now. But I think that's one of the things we have to think about as well is just what what things can we do to put our businesses in the best situation so that when these things that are outside of our control happen, that we are not devastated by them. So do we have, financial reserves for situations like this? Like I had two events this week that both had to cancel. One is rescheduling. The other one is, it was an event, a conference that was in town. Nobody can come because of the airports being shut down and all that stuff like that. So then there's decisions about, refunds and all of this stuff like that. Do you have the reserve for that? Are you prepared for that? Do you have insurance in place so that, you know, that you can mitigate some loss if some, big things happen? So do you have that going on? Um, do you have your business, forecasted? Are you making sure that you are hitting those revenue goals so that you again have that cushion when you do hit those goals? Are you saving that money? All of those different things to, prepare ourselves in that regard, even if you're not a business owner personally, to, prepare ourselves in that regard, because I know for a lot of people, if they, if you're salary, you're still getting paid. Some people are not salary. So if you're not working, you're not getting paid. And you can't control how many days something like this is going to last because, again, they've been talking about this since last week and we're about to hit the weekend again, and not 100% sure what the reopening of the area is looking like. Like some stuff is slowly opening and other things are not. So I'll be mindful of that. But overall, I think my biggest takeaway was the first one is just that the impossible can happen. And I think we don't believe that. We may say it, we may have a big dream, or we may shy away from our big dream because we don't believe that it can happen. Y'all know I'm a faith believer, whether you are or not. It's irrelevant. Um, it matters. I guess for me, this is how I look at it. This is what I'm trying to say. But you don't have to be a faith believer to understand this. It snowed in New Orleans, like 9 or 10 inches of snow in New Orleans. The impossible can happen. I'll take that a step further and say that God can make the impossible possible. So have faith in what you are called to do. Sit in silent space to understand what that is. And once you understand what that is, know that it's possible. So the thing that I thought could not ever happen has happened. It's still happening. It is possible. And with that, not only was it possible, but even the smallest part of me that felt like maybe it was possible never imagined it on this magnitude. And so understand that whatever it is that you are trying to do, want to achieve, is not going to be at the magnitude that you see it. If you believe and if you lean in and you trust and have faith, then you will get to see the fullness of the magnitude of it. Hey, I did not believe. Like they kept saying it was going to snow. I didn't believe it was going to snow. I just didn't. And I still saw the fullness and the magnitude of it, right? So I just want you to be open. I want you to walk tall, walk confidently, right? I talked about calendar detox. Y'all know I also have the capable confident challenge. That's that's why. Because I realize that it is that confidence that a lot of times is keeping us from seeing, believing, walking in our fullness. Impossible things can happen. Start believing, start believing, start preparing. Understand that if you are moving in the right direction, that even if you are met with something greater than you could ever imagine, because you have been believing and preparing, that you will be able to meet the greatness. Yeah. Okay. So those are my takeaways, y'all. Those are my takeaways from snow in in New Orleans. I think I'd be remiss to not mention what's going on in my world. So as far as workflow, what's going on, um we have coming up in February, the next round of the Calendar Detox Challenge. So that is creating that white space. Not snow, not snow, but getting to a space where your life and your purpose are aligned, and that you're removing what is not serving you, and you are filling that calendar with self-care, with purpose-driven activities and joy and fulfillment. So that's the Calendar Detox Challenge. March, we'll do another round of the Capable Confident Challenge. And starting next week is going to be our Own Your Business Incubator. That is geared towards specifically um, growing and building the foundation of our businesses in the midst of this current economy. I actually saw another business closing, small business. I've been seeing a lot of, thanks, but we're shutting the doors post, and it's really sad, because I know that that's hard for business owners to get there, to reach that point where they just have to say, my hands up, I gotta tap out. I don't want to see that happen to you or your business. I want to help you to, one, build that foundation so you have a stronger business, but two, do these growth challenges, revenue growth challenges, to build up that revenue that's coming in, so that you're growing and stabilizing simultaneously. So I'm really excited about that, and building community within that. And it's kind of like a mastermind type of situation. Sign up, sign up, get in there, so that we can make sure that we are continuing to grow together, doing those things that are crucial to continued success, growth, and sustainability. I'll put the links to all of those in the show notes. And I just want everybody to be safe out there, because, like I said, it feels like everywhere is either frozen or on fire. And be safe, life first. And be find somewhere, somehow, to find a little piece of joy, even if there's a lot going on around you, there's a lot going on in the world. um Try to find those moments of joy to help keep you stabilized throughout. So that's what I have for you guys today. I will see you guys next week. I think next week we might have a guest episode, so that's going to be great as well. And have a good rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at CoachDanniD.com.